Okay, actually, this is not our first water factory. We actually had a water factory earlier when I was in JS2, couple of about over 20 years ago in Kano. But that was when the production was done hand manually. So, but when the NAFDAC decided to move in, Kano crisis made us stop because we had to move locations. So this is not our first water factory. So it's just like reactivating our former factory. And also another thing there is that we want to have complete hands-on experience. So when we are talking to people, we know what we are talking about. So there's difference. There's the experience a driver has and a mechanic has. So we have the experience of a mechanic 100%. So we want to have the experience the driver that drives the car on a daily basis has. We have all the statistics on feasibility study, the cost of production, expected profits, and all that. And we've gathered over 20 years information of customers, basically the general complaints, the general problems that affect water factories. But we want to have it hands-on, our own personal experience, a feel of what the production, the business looks like. Okay, for Bevick, first of all, you see this our reverse osmosis I'm leaning on right now. It's a 1,000 liters per hour reverse osmosis. It's coupled in Nigeria. All the parts are basically imported. The pumps, the filters, the membranes, everything are imported, except the plumbing, just the pipes and the electrical materials are Nigeria. So we couple it here. Now this is exactly what the foreign one looks like, except the pipes are stainless steel. Now the foreign one costs us about 4 million cost of importation and clearing, and we sell 4.55 million based on what dollar is saying per time. But this locally coupled one now we are selling for 2 million naira. So you see the difference. Now the major reason why the foreign ones are more expensive is not because it is better quality, it's because of shipping. So when you bring this in pieces, you can bring, when you bring it in pieces, you can bring over 50 reverse osmosis in one container because it's pieces. But when you are bringing a coupled reverse osmosis like this unit now from China, the container may just take about 10 pieces. So that's why it is expensive, because of shipping. So the goal for Bevick in the coming years is that we want to create a niche whereby there is no need for importation. Our aim is that shortly we'll partner with our suppliers in China and try to bring them over so that they can start producing here. We are trying to do what Dangote is doing with refinery. So we are no more depending on China. We are producing right here in Nigeria. Once, if you cut off the cost of shipping, a lot of things will be very affordable in Nigeria. The problem is mostly shipping. So that's where we are for Bevick. So this for Sea Pure Water, sometime in 2022, I was having this Japa syndrome, and I googled online and saw that 80% of billionaires are in their countries. So it's very difficult because of a lot of factors to do well outside your country. So, and I also, while doing my study that time, I realized that Nestle Water, Ever Water are not Nigerian products, even though there is a Nigerian branch of it. And if you check their turnover in Nigeria in a year, it's in billions. So why are we playing small? So the idea is that we are going to have CPO all over the country. Very soon we'll start selling out this franchise. So if people open their own water factory, instead of them to try to get the market, we already have the market. So just open your own branch. We'll make sure it is standard. We'll set it up for you, and we are part of the team. And then we'll have it all over the country. So that means if we are drinking Nestle and Ever, basically we are still importing ordinary water in Nigeria, even though they are kind of producing it here, but it's not a Nigerian company generally. So the idea is that we should have a Nigerian indigenous company serving Nigeria and subsequently Africa. So the same thing for Bevick, the same thing for CPO, cut off importation, bring in these Chinese guys here and start manufacturing start to finish here. Yeah, exactly. You see, the Bible says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. So I always tell people that there's basically nothing you can leave for your children that they cannot squander in a year based on how much you've accumulated in a month. But you see, anywhere you go with the name and you say Dangote, you don't need. Are you the real Dangote? Yeah, and you are the child of Dangote. That's all. It opens doors. So basically, the idea of Bevick is that we want people to think entrepreneurial because when you set up a business for your family, your children, once that brand name is there, they can use it. Like now you can see somebody like Cubana Group from club business, now they are doing properties, they are doing electric vehicles, so just like that. So the idea is that you set up something that outlive you. It's not necessarily leaving money, property and all that for people, but when you leave a name, that name will recreate whatever you should have left for them. And then in Africa, we are trying to make sure we can get as many employment as possible and make a lot of people. Like right now we have around 25 what do we call them, full-time staff, and a reasonable number of part-time. Some guys that are that we trained are now kind of bigger than our office, but they are now partnering with us for bigger jobs. And we also have over 5 people in this line of business that grew from this platform. So the idea in Africa generally is that we want to just entrepreneurship, so that there are a lot of people that can, because my dad always says that when you help in Nigeria and you've helped at least 5 people, because everybody have parents and siblings, and unlike the Western world, for now we are still depending. My brother's money is my money. So if we can help as many Nigerians to be entrepreneurial, own their own business, and also employ as many people as possible, then we know that those people also empower about 4-5 other people. So at the end of the day, we can reach a reasonable number of people.
From your perspective, what's your advice? What's the advice you give someone who wants to set up their own factory?
Okay, the major reason why we are doing even this video right now is that the first thing that kills business is foundation. The first thing that kills anything, relationship, anything in this world, basically what kills anything is foundation. So a lot of people have good intention of setting up water factories, but if you are not guided properly, we have people that went to invest a whole lot of money on building that was not necessary. If you meet an architect before you meet us, and the architect is not very in tune with what is obtainable, you may end up spending. We have that problem, especially in the north where there is large expanse of land. You may end up spending so much money on building. You see people building a very standard duplex. Meanwhile, we needed a hall. And basically, we don't need anything upstairs because it's heavy material, water is heavy, so everything should be downstairs. So basically, if you must have anything upstairs, maybe to fit government recommendation, because most areas, especially in Abuja now, requires high rising. So that upstairs should just be like staff lounge, offices, and all that. So mainly, if you want to start the business, make sure you have gotten the right people to advise you. Because first things first, if you got the right people, we always advise people, if you got we have some people who started their factory just last year, but they've bought machines since 2022. You see, they're already running that is at a profit, because machines you bought in 2022 and now the price is times 3. So, but if you were waiting for the building to be ready, you see that you're already running at a loss. So, and then again, if you are not properly informed, you could go and set up a water factory and you have borehole and water board, borehole and borehole and your sockaway, please. Your borehole should be at least 30 meters far away from your septic tank, any flour mill or filling station. Now, if you don't have all those information, you could go and set up a water factory, and then after all the treatments, you now spend double the money on treatments because you have to start treating bad water, which you could have avoided by doing a borehole in the right location. Then you can also, some people, you can have a water factory, and then because the building doesn't conform, NAFDAC will not give you number. Then if you are not doing the right thing at the right time, some people decide to set up the whole water factory before they invite NAFDAC. Meanwhile, you should have, the day you have the idea is the day you should start working with NAFDAC. You register as CAC and trademark the business name. Even we have a fault at that. You see, our water name is different from our factory name because when we were supposed to, we registered the water name, we were delaying and somebody else took Bevick. So there's a water that is answering, not Bevick precisely, but sounds like. So, and we can't do such. We can't do a name that will now conflict in the market. So we had to go for a new name. So what I always tell people, if you want to set up a factory, once the idea comes and you have a registered company, go and trademark the name immediately. You may not end up using the name. Your children may use it, but it will be awesome. And also, if you are guided properly, you get the building, the machines, everything intact. Some people end up buying more expensive machines that are not necessary. You may meet a quack or somebody that just wants to make money out of you, and you end up buying a lot of machines that are not necessary. Like some people now end up buying like 5-10 sachet machines. Meanwhile, they don't have treatment system that is good enough for one sachet machine. Why didn't you invest money in treatment? You are investing the money in packaging a product that is not good. So there are a lot of things. I can't tell you everything now, but the main thing there is that if you want to start, we just hope you meet us or the right people, possibly NAFDAC around your area or the right people. That's the main thing in any business. If you can meet the right people at a start, you're already running a profit before you start. Because most times what people do now is you see fine building and they are adjusting the foundation. They are putting pillars because the foundation was not done okay. I have a customer that asked this question recently. So our process is that we're in a relationship and you are stuck with us until you are tired of us. We don't just sell machines. We'll guide you on the building, guide you with the NAFDAC, sell the machine, supply the machine, train you how to use the machine, maintain the factory. We have some factories that we have what we call retainership with. That's why the factory is done. When we are done, we run the factory alongside them for 6 months.